When Pokémon first came out over 20 years ago, the reception for it around the world was insane. Pokemania is what they called it, and anybody who was anybody was involved in it. The games, the anime, trading Pokemon cards at the playground with your friends, or hoping to pull that oh-so-beloved Holo Charizard. And that's just the tip of the iceberg. Yeah, that's right. I'm here today to do my own Pokemon Iceberg. I've seen countless photos online of Pokemon Icebergs, and honestly, most of them are kinda lacking. The whole point of an iceberg is to touch every facet of the series and go from the most basic stuff down to the deep-rooted, obscure pieces of knowledge. And it feels to me like so many icebergs completely missed the mark by leaving out so many things in this wonderfully vast franchise. So I will waste no time and just get into my Pokemon Iceberg to show you it goes down much deeper than you think. Series mascot. Pikachu is the main mascot of Pokemon. Ash is the main character. The main protagonist of the Pokemon anime is Ash Ketchum. Ash's birthplace. Ash Ketchum is from Pallet Town. This is also the first place the player begins their journey in Pokemon Red, Blue, Green, and Yellow. 151 original Pokemon. There were only 151 Pokemon originally back in Pokemon's original release. Ash Ketchum's first ever Pokemon. Ash Ketchum's first ever Pokemon was a Pikachu. Ash has taken Pikachu to every region he has been to thus far, and is still his best friend more than 2 decades later. The first 3 starter Pokemon. The original starters for Pokemon are Charmander, Squirtle, and Bulbasaur. Charmander being a fire type, Squirtle being a water type, and Bulbasaur being a grass type. Pokemon's actual and original name. Pokemon is short for Pocket Monsters. The first ever Pokemon games. The first Pokemon games to ever be released were Pokemon Red and Green in Japan on February 27th, 1996. The first Pokemon games in America. The first Pokemon games to ever be released in America were Pokemon Red and Blue on September 28th, 1998. Pokemon Go. Pokemon Go released in 2016 during Pokemon's 20th anniversary, and is the most popular Pokemon mobile game to date. Ash's first companions. Ash's first 2 ever companions were Misty and Brock, the first 2 gym leaders of the series. The first 2 Pokemon that the player can capture. Rattata and Pidgey are the first 2 Pokemon you can encounter in the original Pokemon games. They can both be found on Route 1, literally just north of Pallet Town. Pikachu can evolve. Pikachu evolves into Raichu. The way of evolving Pikachu into Raichu is via a Thunderstone. Ash's Pikachu actually refuses to evolve into Raichu. Ash's first caught Pokemon. Caterpie was the first Pokemon Ash Ketchum ever caught. Caterpie further evolves into Butterfree, and then eventually Ash releases it in episode 21 titled Bye Bye Butterfree. Pokemon's main antagonists. The main antagonists of the Pokemon anime are Jessie, James, and Meowth. They are a part of the criminal organization known as Team Rocket. Team Rocket is one of the most dangerous and illustrious criminal organizations in the entire Pokemon world. Meowth can talk. Team Rocket's Meowth can talk. Meowth's ability to talk has helped Team Rocket many times, and it even gives him the ability to translate what Pokemon are saying. This is very useful for Team Rocket's endeavors. Team Rocket's first Pokemon. Jessie and James's original Pokemon were Ekans and Koffing. They made their appearances in the second episode, Showdown Pokemon Center. That is also the first episode where Team Rocket officially blasts off. James's actual first Pokemon. James owns a Growlithe. The Growlithe is named Growly and stays at James's parents' mansion. James's family is actually filthy rich, and Growly even has its own personal house. The Game Corner no longer exists. The Game Corner was originally in the first 4 generations of Pokémon, but it was removed because of promoting gambling. We no longer see Game Corners in Generation 5 with the release of Pokémon Black and White. The first Pokémon Professor. Professor Oak is the first ever professor we meet in the entire Pokémon series. The player receives their first starter Pokémon from him, being Charmander, Squirtle, and Bulbasaur. Ash Ketchum didn't quite get any of these starters, but he did receive his Pikachu from Professor Oak. Brock and Misty's most powerful Pokémon at the time. Brock uses rock Pokémon, and Misty uses water Pokémon, hence the names. Brock's most powerful Pokémon at the time is Onix, while Misty's most powerful is Starmie. The first Pokémon games on the Nintendo Switch. Pokémon Sword and Shield were the first main series Pokémon games to be released on the Nintendo Switch. As of now, they have sold 22.64 million copies altogether. Team Rocket's leader, or the boss. Giovanni is the leader of Team Rocket. Jesse and James refer to him as the boss, and Meowth is super jealous of a Persian that the boss pays attention to all the time. Ash has never seemingly aged. Ash has seemingly never aged throughout the 20+ year anime run. He has been seen as 11 years old before, but even then, after 20 years, he still looks the exact same. The most basic Pokémon names. Muck's name backwards is something inappropriate. Arbok and Ekans' name backwards are Cobra and Snake. Ash's original rival. Ash's first rival's name was Gary Oak. He is in fact the grandson of the world-renowned Pokémon professor, Professor Oak. Gary always belittled Ash, but at the same time also motivated him. They finally battle each other in the Silver Conference in the Johto region. Ash wins this battle, thus further earning Gary's respect. The Moss Deep City Rocket Rumor. At the time of Pokémon Ruby and Sapphire, there is a man by the window in the Rocket Center that will reveal the number of successful launches there have been. The number is an indicator to the numbers of weeks since the game was begun. Many rumors had been spread about this number, and if it reaches a certain number, the player would be able to go battle Jirachi or Deoxys. However, this rumor was proven false. In the remix, however, it is in fact possible to go to space and battle Deoxys. Mew is under the truck. There had been a rumor in Generation 1 in regards to finding Mew underneath the truck by the SSN. This rumor was however proven false, and there is a way to actually encounter Mew via a glitch. Item duplication glitch in Gen 1. There is a glitch in the original Gen 1 games that allows the player to duplicate items. This can be done by speaking to the old man who gives you the capturing tutorial. After, the player must surf alongside Cinnabar Island until they encounter Miss Signo. Generation 1's legendary bird names. Articuno, Zapdos, and Moltres follow the first 3 numbers in Spanish, being uno, dos, and tres. Articuno, Zapdos, and Moltres. The Pika-Blue rumors. In Pokémon the First Movie, a very peculiar blue mouse-like Pokémon made its appearance. Due to it looking very similar to Pikachu, fans began to speculate that this Pokémon could be Pika-Blue. A lot of people also claimed that Pika-Blue was somehow an alternate evolved form for Pikachu. That would be Electric Water type. Later on though, this was proven to be Meryl. Pokemon's original mascot. Pikachu, as we know, is Pokemon's mascot now, but prior to that, Clefairy was actually meant to be the mascot. The reasoning behind why Clefairy is not the mascot is because in the West, pink is known to be a feminine-based color. In Japan, however, pink is seen to be gender neutral. But due to the femininity, Pikachu became the mascot due to its yellow coloration, and yellow is more of a gender-neutral color in the West as well. Not to mention, yellow is also a very bright color, being a perfect eye-catcher for kids. Who is the first original Pokémon? Mew, Rhydon, Arceus, or Bulbasaur? Which is the first Pokémon? Bulbasaur being the first one in the Dex, Arceus being the creator of Pokémon, Rhydon or Mew having all the DNA of the Pokémon. HMO1 Cut can do more than you think. In some of the Pokémon games, if you use Cut on the grass will actually be cut, making the grass completely vanish. The Distortion World. The Distortion World is a very unique world in Pokémon Platinum that allowed the player to find the Pokémon Giratina. With the most recent releases of Pokémon Brilliant Diamond and Shining Pearl, the remakes of the original Pokémon Diamond and Pearl released in 2006, we do not have access to the Distortion World in that game, despite Pokémon Platinum being out for so many years. One of the most recurring Pokémon characters. Professor Oak is not only the original Pokémon professor, but he is also one of the most recurring characters across the series, consistently appearing in the Pokémon anime, as well as showing up in many of the main series games and spin-offs. Raichu's evolution. Raichu was originally intended to evolve into a Pokémon called Gorochu. Pikachu's original illustrator, Atsuko Nishida, and Pokémon designer Ken Sugimori revealed the lost evolution in an interview with Japanese newspaper Yomiuri on May 2, 2018. Sugimori cited game balance issues, which led to the design being omitted from the games. Years later though, Gorochu's back sprite was revealed, and it was shown to have only one horn. Pachirisu was used to win Pokémon Worlds in 2014. Seijin Park won Pokémon Worlds in 2014 using a Pachirisu. The reason Seijin picked Pachirisu was because he wanted it to be an unexpected choice. Using Pachirisu's bulk and usage of Nuzzle and Follow Me, this was used to give him momentum to clutch some amazing victories. Pokémon abilities didn't exist before Generation 3. In Generation 3, Pokémon abilities were introduced. These gave Pokémon an entirely different outlook, resulting in them having their own unique special powers. An example of this would be static on Pikachu. If Pikachu is attacked with a physical attack, there is a possibility that the opponent Pokémon could be paralyzed. No physical special split. In Generation 4, typings were no longer associated with being special or physical. The physical and special aspects were determined by type. Physical being normal, fighting, flying, poison, ground, rock, ghost, bug, and steel. And special being water, fire, grass, electric, psychic, ice, dragon, and dark. Weird Pokémon breeding. Wailord and Skitty can breed. The reason for this is because they are both in the same egg group, being the field one. Japan used to get Pokémon games first. Pokémon games used to come out in Japan months before the rest of the world. Pokémon Gold and Silver came out in 1999 in Japan, whereas in America they were released in 2000. Ash's father was finally acknowledged again. We all know that Ash Ketchum has a father, and he's only been referenced in the Pokémon anime a few times. However, finally, after many years, his father was acknowledged again in the Pokémon Coco anime film. Kanto City's naming theme. The Kanto region's towns and cities are named after different shades of colors. Pewter City, Cerulean City, Vermilion City, Celadon City, Saffron City, etc. Pokémon Professor naming theme. All of the professors are named after plants and trees in English localized games. Some examples are Oak, Elm, Birch, and Rowan. Sequels that have happened in the same gen. Black and White 2 is the first direct sequel to games to happen within the same generation. They take place 2 years after each other, and introduce an entirely new different set of protagonists. However, they bear a strikingly similar resemblance. The second Pokémon movie's actual name. Pokémon the Movie 2000 is really called Pokémon The Power of One, and was originally released in 1999. The first female Pokémon professor. Professor Juniper in Pokémon Black and White was the first female Pokémon professor in the game series. She too is also named after a tree, being a juniper tree. Pokémon champion changes. There have been 3 confirmed times that a champion has changed in the Pokémon games. Steven to Wallace in Gen 3, Alder to Iris in Gen 5, and Blue to Trace in Gen 7. Brock has no shirt. Brock is shirtless in his Gen 1 sprite in Pokémon Red, Blue, and Green. However, in Pokémon Yellow, this changes, and they keep this change up until Brock's most recent appearance. Pokémon Gold and Silver's unreleased beta. Pokémon Gold and Silver had an unreleased beta version. In this version, there are a bunch of unreleased beta version Pokémon sprites. Some notable ones include this early version of Octillery, the Firestarter option, and this early version of Chikorita. The Bad Egg. Bad eggs aren't really Pokémon eggs, and they are the result of the corruption of Pokémon data. This is a phenomenon present in Generation 3 to Generation 6, and in Pokémon Home. When trying to get rid of the egg via a cheating device, sometimes that can make the game freeze. Battling the first protagonist. Red is the only protagonist you can battle multiple times. He can be battled first at the end of Pokémon Gold, Silver, and Crystal, and from then can be battled in Heart Gold and Soul Silver, Pokémon Stadium 2, Pokémon Black and White 2, Pokémon Sun and Moon and Ultra Sun and Moon, and Pokémon Let's Go Pikachu and Eevee. His team also consists of very highly leveled Pokémon, such as his Pikachu at level 81. Salamence is obtainable really early. Salamence is available in the 7th generation games at a level lower than 10. This method can be done via the SOS method once unlocked after the Totem Gumshoe's Eradicate trial, depending on which game you chose. Once the player encounters a Bagon in battle, they can begin the SOS method in hopes that a Salamence will appear. Children got seizures. Porygon gave children seizures. This was due to several flashing colors on the screen at once. The episode in the Pokémon anime this happened in was actually banned. The episode was called Electric Soldier Porygon. Meowth's lover. Team Rocket's Meowth was in love with a female Meowth named Meowsy. Meowsy came from a very wealthy background. Meowth, however, originally was a street urchin Meowth that stole things to get by. The reason it learned human speech and to walk on 2 legs was to impress Meowsy. But instead, Meowsy fell in love with another Persian after taking her in after being abandoned by her trainer. This caused Meowth massive heartbreak. Mimikyu's mystery. Nobody knows what Mimikyu actually looks like. If a creature ever tries to attempt to see it, it will get very sick. This happened in the Pokémon Sun and Moon anime, where Meowth tried to lift up its shroud. Agatha's wrong label. Agatha is labeled as a Ghost-type trainer. What's really funny though is she actually has mostly Poison types on her original team. So this in a sense actually makes her a Poison-type trainer. Pokémon Diamond and Pearl's hidden rewards. The original Pokémon Diamond and Pearl games were released in America on April 22, 2007. If you pre-ordered these games from GameStop, you would receive a Dialga or Palkia stylus depending on which game you chose. It also came with a special holder to place the styluses, with the Sinnoh starters on it. Johto's naming scheme. All of the towns in Johto have names related to plants. New Bark Town, literally New Bark. Cherry Grove, cherries are a type of fruit, while a grove is a multitude of trees near each other. Violet City, from the violet plant. Azalea Town, from the plant Azalea. Goldenrod City, being goldenrod, a type of yellow-colored flowering plant. Ecruteak City is a beige color, while teak is a type of tree. Olivine City, possibly from the words olive in vine, Cyanwood City from the words cyan and wood, Mahogany Town from mahogany, Blackthorn City from the plant blackthorn, a type of plant closely related to the plum. Pokémon regions not based in Japan. Unova was the first region not to be based off of Japan, and regions have not been based off of Japan since Sinnoh. Unova has a particular focus on New York City, Kalos is based on France, Alola is based on Hawaii, and Galar is based on the UK. More women Pokémon professors. Each time a woman has been introduced as a professor in the Pokémon series, they've always come in pairs. Juniper in Black and White 2, and Professor Burnett in the Dream Radar. The second instance of this was in Sword and Shield with Magnolia being the professor at the beginning of the game, with her granddaughter Sonia becoming the new professor at the end of the game. As we know, Mewtwo is a clone from Mew. However, it is theorized that Ditto is actually a failed Mew clone. The reasoning behind this is due to Ditto being found in the burned mansion on Cinnabar Island, the location where the Mewtwo experiment took place. This female Pokémon professor gets married. Professor Burnett reappears in the Alola games, this time as the wife of Professor Kukui and the one responsible for researching Ultra Beasts and Ultra Wormholes. She is also seen being Professor Kukui's wife in the Pokémon Sun and Moon anime. Pokémon's Awesome Music Album. To Be a Master was an album released in 1999, featuring original songs for the dubbed version of the Pokémon anime. A banger on this album is Viridian City. The original artist of Pokémon. Ken Sugimori was the original artist of the first 151 Pokémon. His change of style over the years has been incredibly noticeable. Initially, he used a lightly shaded style using watercolors that was very reminiscent of Akira Toriyama's visual style. Kenji, or Tracy Sketchit in the English dub, may be based around him and to pay homage to him, especially as both of them enjoy creating art. How to get the Regis. The Regis in Generation 3 are actually challenging to get, especially as back then, the internet wasn't as abundant as it is today. Relicanth and Wailord are needed to get the Regis, and the player must also translate a plethora of Braille pieces. The player must use Dig on one of these pieces, and then in the next room have Relicanth up first in their party and Wailord last. How Slowpoke actually evolves. Slowpoke evolves into Slowbro from a Shelder biting its tail. This was discovered in the Pokémon anime episode The Evolution Solution by Professor Westwood V. This version of Shelder has never been available to obtain in any game though. Pokémon's original distribution rights. The Pokémon anime's original distribution rights belonged to Kids WB, and the anime was dubbed by 4Kids. It aired every Saturday morning on Kids WB. I very rarely missed any episodes. And when I did, it was due to karate class. Thanks, Mom. Pokémon's Best Policeman. Looker is one of the most recurring characters in the main series games behind Professor Oak. In the Kanto games, he is seen in the SS Anne as a member of the International Police. In Pokémon Platinum, he is seen in Jubilife City, explaining how he works for the International Police, and how the players should tell him if they spot any villainous activity. He makes his appearance again in Unova in an effort to investigate Team Plasma. He even disguises himself as the player's mother. In Pokémon X and Y, he makes his appearance once more, and mentions to the player about their championship and Team Flare. They also meet him again in Lumio City. He gets washed up at the Battle Resort in Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire. He also made an appearance in Alola, where he talks about encountering Nanu at some point. This guy is everywhere. Ash Ketchum's many Tauros. Ash's group of Tauros were captured in a banned episode of the Pokémon anime, which was not seen in America due to depictions of firearms aimed at minors. Real-life Pokémon distributions. Pokémon players used to have to go to certain limited events in order to obtain certain Pokémon, such as being able to get Shaman by going to Toys R Us. Rest in peace, Toys R Us, by the way. Pokémon's appearances in other shows. Pokémon has been referenced several times in Western media, in shows like The Simpsons, South Park, Robot Chicken, and several other cartoons. Robot Chickens is especially hilarious. Celebrities also love Pokémon. Several celebrities have a deep love for Pokémon, such as Ronda Rousey, Jordan Sparks, Chrissy Teigen, and so on. That famous YouTuber Tavotchinary also loves Pokémon. Follow my Genshin Impact channel if you want to see a Genshin Iceberg at some point. And if you don't like it, you're a poo-poo diaper baby. You killed a Pokémon. In the Pokémon games, the player battles their rival quite a few times. On the battle in the SSN against Blue, Blue is seen with Eradicate. However, once that battle is over and the player faces him again in the Lavender Tower, Eradicate is no longer on his team. Pokémon fans have theorized, due to Blue being in the Pokémon Tower, that we as the player actually killed Eradicate and Blue was paying his respects to it. Pokémon generations hint towards future ones. Every Pokémon generation features a hint at the next generation. For example, in Generation 1, we were introduced to Togepi, who would in the future be a Generation 2 Mon. In the Silver Conference, Harrison owned a Blaziken and was from Hoenn. In Lucario and the Mystery of Mew, Lucario was one of the main protagonists. There are other forms of this as well. Silver's father. In Heart Gold and Soul Silver, after encountering Celebi, the player is greeted with Silver and Giovanni. This is when we found out Giovanni is Silver's father. It's been theorized that the Rocket executive Ariana could be Silver's mother. Kadabra's lawsuit. Over 20 years ago, well-known magician and illusionist Uri Geller got Kadabra banned from the Pokemon TCG with a lawsuit. He claimed Kadabra was created in the likeness of his spoon-bending trick. Not to mention Kadabra's Japanese name is also based on Uri Geller. With that said, he sued Nintendo in a California court. 20 years later, he apologized on Twitter and also dropped the ban on Kadabra. Agatha's long-lost sister. Fans have theorized that Bertha and Agatha are sisters. The evidence comes from both their names in Japanese and English being very similar to each other. Both are extremely powerful and renowned Pokemon trainers, being in the Elite Four, and they both have very striking resemblances of each other. Human birth in Pokemon. Pokemon has been around quite a while, as we know, but Professor Burnett is the only character in the anime that has been shown to be visibly pregnant. Snorlax's origin. Snorlax was based off of a Game Freak programmer named Koji Nishino. He has been involved in almost every main series Pokemon game since Pokemon Red and Green. A character named Eric may be a cameo of Koji Nishino in the Japanese version of all the Generation 1 games, as well as their Gen 3 and 7 remakes. The two Pokemon that can't breed. Nidoqueen and Nidorina are the only two Pokemon that cannot breed, despite the pre-evolution being able to breed. If you want to breed for a Nidoqueen, you actually need the parent to be Nidoran female. Pokemon's Christmas special movies. Pokemon had two Winter Vacation specials, being Pikachu's Winter Vacation 1 and Pikachu's Winter Vacation 2. Might I also mention, in Pikachu's Winter Vacation 2, Chikorita is extremely adorable. Santa Claus makes his appearance in Pokemon. Santa Claus appears in the Pokemon episode Holiday Hijinks. Jinx was Santa Claus's special helper. Another interesting thing too is that Lapras used telepathy to talk. Oh, and this episode is banned. Ash Ketchum's first kiss. Pokemon Heroes was the first instance where Ash was seen being kissed. In the movie, we know that Latias would transform herself into one of the movie's main characters, Bianca. So this has always bugged Pokemon fans. Did Ash get kissed by Latias or Bianca? The first Blaziken. The beta version of Blaziken looks a whole lot like a fusion between the final design and Latias. Early beta designs for Torchic depict it looking like a newly hatched chick. Combusken, however, doesn't appear to have any beta designs at all. The Black Void in Sinnoh. There are a variety of glitches in the Sinnoh games that can be used to access the Void. The Void is the giant black space that the player can use to access a bunch of things in Sinnoh. They can use it to get to the Elite Four early, and even take on Cynthia whenever they want. The Void can also be used to encounter Pokemon like Shaman and Darkrai, two Pokemon that can only be obtained via event. The Mega that we will never get. Fans have always wanted a Mega Evolution for the Pokemon Flygon. In fact, there was actually supposed to be one, however. Ken Sugimori said that the reason we didn't get a Mega Flygon was due to artist's block on his end. Jinx's controversy. Jinx originally had a black face and hands. However, she was recolored for the worldwide release of Gold and Silver onwards due to Jinx's original appearance being similar to Blackface. Two abilities at once. Calyrex is the only Pokemon known to command a Pokemon, being Glacier and Spectrier, as well as being the only Pokemon that has two abilities at once. Glacier has the ability Chilling Neigh, and Spectrier has the ability Grim Neigh. Chilling Neigh increases the attack after a knockout, while Grim Neigh increases the special attack. It's essentially Moxie. Calyrex's rider forms, Ice Rider and Shadow Rider, have the ability as one. This ability combines the ability Unnerve with either Grim Neigh or Chilling Neigh, depending on which rider form Calyrex is. The highest base stat total in Pokemon. Eternatus's base stat total is 690, which is a very high total. However, if we look at Eternatus's Eternamax form, it has the highest base stat total of any Pokemon in existence, at 1125. This form cannot be obtained legally. Otherworldly Pokemon. Ultra Beasts are in fact Pokemon from other dimensions. You can visit these dimensions with the help of Lunala and or Solgaleo. These Pokemon, alongside Necrozma, are thought to be Ultra Beasts, though it's never fully confirmed in the games. Jessie's Forgotten Pokemon. Jessie from Team Rocket originally had a Lickitung. She had originally captured it in the Pokemon anime episode titled Princess vs. Princess. Jessie later on used Lickitung in the Queen of the Princess Festival. Lickitung managed to knock out all of Misty's Pokemon aside from Psyduck, who actually knocked Lickitung out. Later in this series though, in Violet City, our beloved Tongue Pokemon was traded for the oh-so-lovable Wobbuffet we see today. Wobbuffet! Pokemon's very first name. Pokemon was originally conceptualized as capsule monsters in 1990. This was Satoshi Tajiri's early design concept proposed to Nintendo. According to the book, Pikachu's Global Adventure, this original concept traces back to Satoshi's early years of childhood where he loved to do bug catching. The name Capsule Monsters was also inspired by Japanese gachapon machines. But he had trouble trademarking the name, so he went with Kapumon first and then later Pocket Monsters. Dollar Store Mew. Aside from Mew, the only other Pokemon capable of learning nearly every move is Smeargle, with its move Sketch. The only moves it cannot copy are Struggle and Chatter. No shiny Pokemon in these games. The Pokemon Mystery Dungeon series has no shiny Pokemon in it. However, there is a shiny Celebi that appears in the Darkness, Time, and Sky series. This Pokemon actually plays a very valuable part within the story. Ash's Pikachu's backstory. In Pokemon Journeys, there was an episode where it showed Ash's Pikachu originally as a Pichu. We learned it lived with a Kangaskhan for a time, and it even slept in the Mama Kangaskhan's pouch. Eventually though, Pichu evolved into Pikachu through enough happiness from staying with the Kangaskhan. And then from there, it went to Professor Oak, and then today, into Ash Ketchum's hands. Mimikyu causes death. Mimikyu disguises itself as a Pikachu in the hopes to make friends with people, as its normal appearance can apparently cause death in anyone that sees it. Earlier, I said Meowth got sick. Nah, it almost died. I just didn't want to be as dark. N is not human. There is a popular fan theory that N is a Zoroark. Zoroark is a master of trickery and illusions, not to mention it could also mimic human speech. His ties with Pokemon are super deep, and he was supposedly raised by Pokemon. The most interesting piece of evidence, though, is towards the end of Pokemon Black and White, where the player is supposed to go meet N. On the way, they run into Zoroark, and suddenly it runs away. In the next area, Zoroark is missing, and N is there taking its place. It's a very plausible theory, on top of the fact N also has a Zoroark in his party. Kabutops is Genesect. There is a theory claiming that Genesect was originally a Kabutops. The evidence is in the Pokédex entries, alluding to a 300 million year time period. Kabutops was referred to as a hunter 300 million years ago, and Genesect's entry states it was feared as the strongest of hunters. Genesect is based on an ancient insect, whereas Kabutops is based on a trilobite or horse crab. This theory is a toughie because they are based on completely different things. Munna is alluded to in Gen 1. In Generation 1, right outside of Mount Moon, an NPC references a Pokemon being pink with a floral pattern. People have speculated that this could be referring to Munna. Munna depicts the exact description that this NPC states, and it was more than 10 years later when Munna was finally released. Arcanine, the legendary Pokemon. In the second episode of the Pokemon anime, when Ash calls his mom, Arcanine is seen on the wall with the 3 legendary birds, and from then, people thought that Arcanine could potentially be legendary. The funny thing is that Arcanine is actually named the legendary Pokemon in the Pokédex. And in its Pokédex entries, it says it is possible for it to run over 6,200 miles in a single day and night. Arcanine apparently, though, is seen as a legendary Pokemon in China, according to its Pokédex entry in Pokemon Yellow. The Pokemon War. Lieutenant Surge is known as the Lightning American. He is stated to have served in the war and is also referenced as a strict CO. There have been theories going around in regards to which war Surge is talking about. A real life one, or some kind of one that happened only in the Pokemon universe. Some say he's a World War II vet, and Proto Mario's theory talks about him being a Gulf War vet. The legendary Beasts theory. 150 years before the events of Pokemon Gold and Silver, the Brass Tower was burnt down, and 3 unknown Pokemon died in the fire. These Pokemon were brought back to life by Ho-Oh, thus turning them into the legendary beasts. These Mons are theorized to have been originally the 3 original evolutions, Vaporeon, Jolteon, and Flareon. Real-life animals in the Pokemon universe. There are real-life animals that exist in the world of Pokemon as shown by the anime, including a line about Raichu being able to take down an Indian elephant. Also, in the first season, Ash and friends are seen to be eating what looks like animal meat. Is it Tauros meat, Miltank meat, or something else? There's also instances of fish during the episode when the SS Anne sunk. Pokemon the First Movie soundtrack. Christina Aguilera was on the Pokemon the First Movie album. She had a song on there called Miracle. This song was played during the very first opening cutscene of the credits. Ash, Misty, and Brock were all walking on a beach. Old Western references in Pokemon. In the Pokemon anime, Team Rocket's Jesse and James and Butch and Cassidy were named after popular Old Western icons Jesse James and Butch Cassidy. The most forgotten Pokemon game. Pokémon Channel was a Pokémon game released in the early 2000s where you could sit down and watch TV with Pikachu, and also participate in activities such as shopping for items, collecting nice cards, and even going to other places like Cobalt Coast and being able to fish. Awesome real-life Pokeballs. In celebration of Pokemon's 25th anniversary, many high-quality Pokeball replicas have been released, with the Wand Company producing high-quality metal replicas of Pokeballs like the standard ones we all know and love from the first generation, all the way to balls like the Premier and Dusk Ball. Baccarat also produces high-quality crystal Pokeballs at a whopping $410. Multiple legendary Pokemon. In the Pokemon anime, it has been stated that there are multiple versions of legendary Pokemon. In the Johto arc, when Ash and friends were in the Whirl Islands, they encountered some Lugia. Ash mentions that he encountered a Lugia in the Orange Islands, alluding to the one he encountered in Pokemon 2000. Shellos and Gastrodon in Gen 3. Shellos and Gastrodon were originally supposed to debut in Generation 3. However, these beta concepts were saved and were released in Pokemon Diamond and Pearl instead. The original beta ones actually don't look that far off from their current design. Gen 2 Safari Zone. Pokemon Gold and Silver were originally supposed to have the Safari Zone in it. However, due to game space on the cartridges, this idea was scrapped. Despite it being scrapped though, there is data for it still in the games as it looks very unfinished. Players could actually use cheating devices to access it. One being a Game Genie code that restores the Safari Zone door in Fuchsia City, and the other two being Game Shark codes. One was able to alter the behavior of any warp tile to that of a hold tile, and the other was the walk through walls cheat. Shiny Charizard's Error. In the TCG set Plasma Storm, there is an awesome shiny Charizard card. However, there's a slight error in this card. Instead of its normal fire energy requirement on its Scorching Fire attack, it has a fighting energy requirement instead. This error was only ever on the English version of the card, and was never fixed, making it a very unique and valuable card. Special Pokemon Dust. A fun event known to Pokemon fans has to be when Diamond Dust appears in snowy areas. Diamond Dust, instead of your typical snowfall, is very sparkly and beautiful to look at. During Generation 4, you could experience the Diamond Dust phenomenon on January 12th, February 27th, March 15th and 31st, April 22nd, May 1st, September 2nd and 20th, October 10th and 30th, and finally, New Year's Eve. Since then, the only time you could experience Diamond Dust was on your own birthday. It's a nice touch, and one that I think many players enjoy. Legends Arceus Ancestry. Though it's not yet released, Legends Arceus has some really cool things to add to the franchise already. One being in the form of seeing the ancestors of well-known characters. While we have definite confirmation of Commander Komodo being Professor Rowan's ancestor, we have quite a few speculative but likely accurate ancestors here, such as Cyrus, Mars, Marley, Clay, Volkner, Cynthia, and of course the protagonists Dawn and Lucas. I'm sure there will be plenty more to discover when the games release in January. Pokemon's favorite Pokemon. We all have our favorite Pokemon. Well, naturally, the employees that make the games do as well. Junichi Masuda's favorite is Psyduck. James Turner's is Salandit. Ishihara's is Executor. Shigeki Morimoto's is Mew. And finally, Ken Sugimori's is either Hoothoot, Venusaur, or Gengar. I guess everyone's mind can change at some point in time. Pokemon's original catchphrase. So, a lot of us may know that Pokemon's catchphrase is, "Gotta catch 'em all." But the original Japanese catchphrase is, Pokemon Geto Daze, meaning, Pokemon I got one, or I'll get one, depending on the context of how it's being said. So they're pretty similar, but definitely not as massive of a goal as English-speaking audiences are used to with getting all of them. Pokemon originally named after cities. In the red and blue beta, coughing and wheezing actually had very different names. Coughing was NY, and wheezing was LA, both referencing the US cities and their high levels of pollution. We can see why that would be a little controversial, and it's probably for the best that the names were changed. Gotta catch some of them. Spinda is a Pokemon with a very unique trait. It has a spotted pattern, and according to the dex entries, there is less than a 1 in 4 billion chance of another Spinda having the same pattern as it. Well, this is almost true. Spinda's patterns are based on its personality value, which is a 32-bit number. This actually puts it in that 4 billion range. However, some of these values are indistinguishable, making the actual number not quite that high and near impossible to actually determine. That said, knowing more than likely that every Spinda you have ever caught is likely unique to you is a pretty special feeling. The Super Rod is a lie. A glitch in the original Pokemon Red and Blue games actually allows you to fish and surf when facing the right or left of the statues in the gym. With the old rod, you'll always pull up a Magikarp, whereas the Super Rod gives you nothing. That's not Nidorino. During the opening sequence of Pokemon Red and Blue, where Professor Oak is introducing you to the world of Pokemon, he sends out a Nidorino. This sounds very uninteresting, but unbeknownst to a decent amount of players, the cry the Pokemon lets out is a Nidorino's cry instead. Pokemon storybooks. Pokemon had some paperback books based on episodes from the anime, and the author of those books was Tracy West. There are actually 28 of them altogether, going anywhere from the original series all the way until Johto. Pulseman and Pokemon. Rotom's design is inspired by the 1994 Game Freak Sega Genesis game character Pulseman. The game has only been released outside of Japan on game services that had been discontinued, being the Sega Channel in 1995 and the Wii Virtual Console in 2009, making it very hard to play. Pokemon Booster Box values. Booster boxes of Pokemon cards from the EX series and prior go for thousands upon thousands of dollars unopened. The packs from these boxes can also go for upwards of $100. Illustrator Pikachu card. CoroCoro Comics hosted an art contest in the late part of 1997 to early 1998 for Pokemon fans to design their own cards. 3 entrants received the Best Award, giving them 20 copies of their own designed cards plus this Illustrator Pikachu card. This Illustrator Pikachu card is so rare because there were only 39 total distributed. The Best TCG Prize. In every Pokemon Worlds TCG tournament, the top 3 TCG players are given a card with their placing on it, making it that only 3 are in existence for each individual year. The Best Pokemon Movie Ending. The Pokemon 3 ending theme, To Know the Unknown, was sung by Innocence. Innocence was an American girl group that was together from 1997 to 2003. When Molly's mother came back, that was the best part. Cyrus's origin. According to Cyrus's grandfather in Pokemon Platinum, Cyrus was actually from Sunny Shore City. Meltan's evolution. Meltan is currently only able to be obtained as well as be evolved into Melmetal in Pokemon Go. Non-official Pokemon terms. There are many labels that Pokemon go by, but it's funny because most of these are actually from fans. The terms Shiny Pokemon, Pseudo-Legendary, and Mythical Pokemon are all fan-made terms. A Legendary and Mythical in the same duo. Darkrai and Cresselia are a duo of Pokemon, where one is a Legendary and one is a Mythical. The only instance of this thus far in Pokemon. Cubone's final evolution and mother. Cubone is one of the loneliest Pokemon in the series. This is due to the fact that it wears the skull of its dead mother. Fans have always theorized that the Cubone line was originally supposed to evolve into Kangaskhan. With that said, the baby in the pouch has always been thought to have been a baby Cubone without the skull. What's shocking though, is that the skull Cubone wears is strikingly similar to that of an adult Kangaskhan's head. Johto's original starting town. New Bark Town, as we know, is the starting town in Johto. However, in the beta version of Gold and Silver, the starting town was going to be called Silent Hills. Pokémon and Hello Kitty working together. In 2017, Pikachu alongside Hello Kitty were named cultural ambassadors to Osaka, Japan, in order to promote the city in hopes Japan would be named host for Expo 2025. It seems this paid off, as Osaka will in fact be hosting Expo 2025. So we'll have to be on the lookout a few years from now to see if there will be any interesting things for Pokemon to promote. Regional variants inspiration. One of Game Freak's newest and very well received gimmicks has to be regional variants. But what's really interesting about them are their origins. Regional variants come from Darwin's theory of evolution, specifically Darwin's finches. While in the Galapagos Islands, Charles Darwin observed several related species of finches that ended up becoming very diversified in order to better survive in their radically different environments. Gold Star Pokemon cards. One of the rarest kinds of Pokemon cards in the TCG were Gold Star cards. These cards featured shiny Pokemon, and the ability to find one was definitely reflective of that fact. The odds of finding even a single Gold Star was 1 in every 2 booster boxes, making them very expensive to purchase in the case you weren't able to pull one yourself. Pokemon's musical. There was a Pokemon musical produced in the early 2000s called Pokemon Live. It featured songs from the To Be a Master album, a very bizarre story, and was panned by critics. Ash's theorized father. In Pokemon Live, it's said that Ash's mother Delia had a previous relationship with the leader of Team Rocket, Giovanni, before starting a relationship with Ash's dad. The writer of the musical has actually said that he originally intended for Giovanni to be Ash's father, but that it was vetoed by 4Kids at the time. Pokemon were supposed to talk originally. The original intention of Pokemon Anime Studio, OLM Inc., was to have Pokemon talk in the anime, but they were unable to give Game Freak a concept they agreed to. Another very rare Pokemon card. The Master's Key card was given away to 36 competitors at the 2010 Japan World Championship, making it one of the rarest cards in existence. Pokemon Legal Tender. An island off the coast of New Zealand actually printed Pokemon onto their money for a short period of time. The country of Niue intended for the coins to be collector items, but it is legal tender. Real-life creatures named after Pokemon. There are several real-life insects named after Pokemon, and even a dinosaur named after Aerodactyl. They even named a prehistoric creature after Bulbasaur. Dynamax and Mega Evolution before they were announced. The original anime made hints towards several future Pokemon mechanics, such as Dynamax with the giant Dragonite and a potential Mega Gyarados sighting. Lavender Town Syndrome. The high frequencies in the Lavender Town theme apparently caused children between the ages of 7 to 12 to commit suicide. This phenomenon was called Lavender Town Syndrome. The reasoning was due to the high frequencies. Supposedly, around 200 children committed suicide and many developed illnesses or afflictions. However, these are just claims made, and there is no real solid evidence to back this up. Ash Ketchum in the future. Egan from Pokemon Colosseum is theorized to be Ash Ketchum in the future, as he has a Pikachu. His granddaughter, Rui, has a lot of similarities to Misty, insinuating that Ash and her married at some point. Delta species. While never straight up confirmed, the Delta Species era of the TCG seems to have been created solely because of Diamond and Pearl being delayed from a 2005 release to 2006. With no new Pokemon to create cards for, the Pokemon Company likely knew they'd have to do something really interesting to keep consumers buying cards. Well, I would certainly say that was a success if that was their plan, as the Delta Species line of cards were some of the most creative and beautiful cards to ever exist. Peekaboo was a mistake. Remember when I mentioned Peekaboo earlier? Well, one of the reasons those rumors were so persistent might have been because the name was printed in official Pokemon media. Well, sort of. See, in promotion for Pikachu's Vacation and Pokemon the First Movie, Pokemon worked with famous card company Topps in order to create top-tier holofoil cards. However, these cards had some errors in them, such as referring to Snubbull, Buru, and of course, Meryl as Peekaboo. These errors were eventually corrected in the second run printing, but they somehow still managed to spell Snubbull's name wrong, spelling it Snubble. I think there may be a reason we don't get any more Pokemon cards from Topps. Cosmoem is actually huge. Cosmoem, the middle stage evolution of both Lunala and Solgaleo, is pretty hefty. Despite being only 4 inches in height, it has a massive weight of 2,204 pounds. Based on that size alone, it is by far the densest Pokemon to ever exist, but also an extremely dense object in the universe. Reddit user Jugal did calculations and found out that if the majority of Cosmoem's weight is concentrated at the black core of the Pokemon, that would give it a density of 161,274.19 G per cubic centimeter. A comparison they listed was the Sun's core being estimated at 162 grams per cubic centimeter, making it 1,000 times denser than our own Sun. Gotta say, that's some pretty fascinating stuff. Satoshi Tajiri. The creator of Pokemon, for the most part, is shrouded in mystery. Not much is known about Satoshi Tajiri's personal life, nor how he still contributes to the franchise today. However, a Western author has made a claim about Tajiri that explains his social reclusiveness. The author feels his behaviors can be explained by Tajiri being on the autism spectrum. This claim is completely unfounded, and yet a decent amount of people have run with that story, despite not having any formal record of this. Whatever the case may be, we can thank Satoshi Tajiri and his hobbies for creating one of the most beloved franchises in the entire world. Ash is in a coma. This theory is by far one of the darkest and most popular Pokemon theories of them all. But we're at the bottom of the iceberg, where it's dark and eerie. Ash Ketchum is theorized to be in a coma. After the first episode in stealing Misty's bike, Ash Ketchum is chased down by some Spearow. He falls off the bike, Pikachu shocks, and electricity explodes everywhere. Ash wakes up and sees Ho-Oh going over a rainbow. After Ash wakes up is where he supposedly starts his dreams. Everything after episode 1 is a dream for Ash Ketchum, and how he would live his Pokemon journey. These episodes are his dreams, while he is in the coma. That's why he never ages. In one of Ho-Oh's Dex entries, it states that anyone who sees it is promised eternal happiness. So Ash is theorized to have eternal happiness as he dreams of his adventures while laying in a coma. Obviously, this is a very popular theory, but definitely not true. Ash stays 10 because the creators of Pokemon want kids to relate to Ash. Rarest Raichu card. One of the all-time rarest cards in the Pokemon TCG has to be the pre-release Raichu card. Raichu was first released in Pokemon's base set, but around the time of the Jungle expansion being printed, an error occurred while printing out the pre-release Clefable cards, with Raichu appearing on the printing press instead. These printing presses were 8x11, meaning there are between 8 to 10 of these cards in existence. Despite Wizards of the Coast denying their existence for many years, a staff member eventually shared an image of the elusive card in 2006. I'd have to imagine those cards are all in the safekeeping of Wizards employees, who will probably never let them go, unless of course they ever want a buttload of cash. Burger King Toy Recall. In 1999, Burger King released a set of 57 Pokémon toys. These toys were special Pokeballs that were distributed in both Burger King Kids Meals and Big Kids Meals. It was to last 8 weeks, from early November of 99 through December of 99. Due to this Pokeball's size, it was a major suffocation hazard. In December of 99, a 13-month-old baby was found lifeless in her playpen with half the Pokeball covering her mouth and nose. After a close call with another 18-month baby, Burger King finally recalled the Pokeballs. Ash Ketchum in the Pokemon games. Ash Ketchum can be seen in a couple of pictures in the main series Pokemon games, more specifically in Alola. For one, being Ash Greninja, there's also a picture of Ash and Pikachu. You can actually find that picture where the Ghost Pokemon trial in Sun and Moon takes place. Cyrus in the past. As many of us know, Legends Arceus is going to be a prequel of sorts to the Sinnoh games we all know and love. However, there's a theory about this game's origins that might shock you. At the end of Pokemon Platinum, Cyrus manages to be taken to another world to create the one he desires, since the protagonist stops him from destroying the current world. As we can see, there are heavy Team Galactic references in the form of the Galaxy Expedition Team, the organization the player character is a part of. It's extremely possible that this region of Hisui is from Cyrus creating the new world in his vision. It would certainly be a great twist if we find out by the end of the game we've been working for the bad guy all along, but we'll have to see if that's the case. Pokemon players banned for life. Back in 2015, 2 Pokemon players were banned from official events for life after they appeared to threaten the Pokemon World Championships in Boston. I won't mention their names or exactly what the threat was, but let's just say it's good on Pokemon's security at the venue and the Boston Police Department's quick action from potentially preventing a tragedy. Pokemon's favorite movie. In Pokemon Red and Blue, the player character's mother is watching a movie on the TV with 4 boys walking on railroad tracks. This is a reference to the 1986 film Stand By Me. This film was referenced once again in the Pokemon music video Gotcha, celebrating the many years of Pokemon. It's safe to say this may be one of the creator's favorite films, or at the very least left a mark on him and the franchise. Generation 9 hints. Many people are beginning to speculate where the next generation of Pokemon will be located. Though we just got BDSP and Arceus is right around the corner, we're approaching the 3-year mark in this series, meaning it's prime for Gen 9. Some people are hoping for Greece, Mexico, and just about any other country you can think of. But some good places to look at would have to be all of the recent games. The games love to give hints at the next games in the lineup. In X and Y, you can obtain the strange souvenir, which points to Hawaii. You can even look towards the mythical Pokemon of a certain gen having themes related to the region that follows them. Loxton did a fantastic video on this, and can explain it in depth much better than I can if you want that additional information. So where will Gen 9 end up? Well, it's anybody's guess at the moment. But if we take a look at the only mythical we have in Gen 8, being Zarude, this could range from Africa, Peru, Brazil, and so on. I guess we'll just have to wait and see if Legends Arceus adds any more new mythicals, but it feels like a forest-heavy location could be a safe bet. Well, that's the Pokemon Iceberg. If you made it this far, type #dark in the comment section. What'd you guys think? Let me know down below. If you want more vids like this, also let me know down below. Hey guys, thank you for enjoying another Mystic Umbreon video. It's exciting times for the Pokemon franchise, and I look forward to the coming months where it just keeps getting better. I want to give a huge thanks to my phenomenal team and for the amazing art done each week by Danny the Demon. I couldn't do all of this without them. If you guys are wanting some more bite-sized Mystic Umbreon content, please check out my TikTok, where I upload daily, as well as the Mystic Umbreon Shorts channel. If y'all enjoyed the video and want to see more content like this, be sure to leave a like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell. Be sure to leave a comment too, it really helps us out. I think it's time to wrap this up though. I'm Mystic Umbreon, and I'll see you next time with some more amazing Pokemon content.